Hey guys, welcome back. So I wanted to show you this really awesome alternative to a counterweight system, basically an alternative to having a big metal thing at the back of your shoulder rig. And this isn't a standard shoulder rig, but this should work really well for pretty much any kind of shoulder rig. And so basically right now what I've done is I've put a really big camera, which I normally wouldn't use on this shoulder rig because it's way too heavy for this shoulder rig alone. And I'm using it together with this elastic strap, which is the alternative to the counterweight system. And I'll show you the strap in a second. Basically, the reason I'm using this rig is because I love it. I mean, I've explained that in a separate video. It's versatile. It's super comfortable and super stable and allows me to have both hands on the camera. And there's just loads of things to love about this. And it's hands-free if I want it to be, etc. But it doesn't work with big cameras like this normally. But now that I've connected a strap to it, it's basically usable with larger cameras as well. And now the reason that I actually thought of this idea is because, I mean, I'm still going to be using a smaller camera with it most of the time, but I was really limited by lenses. Like I wanted to use a slightly larger zoom lens than I was using before. I wanted to use this larger ball head, the Joby Ball Head X, which is much stronger and better than the little tiny thing I was using before. And I wanted to add my quick release, which is under here right now, because I didn't want to keep unscrewing stuff from my camera. So I wanted to use my standard quick release on this tiny system, which normally is amazing with a tiny camera with no quick release and just a tiny little ball head. But as soon as I wanted to add these accessories and maybe add a microphone on top, etc., all those things made this system, even with the A7S, which is a much smaller camera than this, even with that, it was too heavy. So it was too heavy for the Gorillapod because all the weight is just sitting on this one arm of the Gorillapod over my shoulder. So with this, now I've put a way oversized system on here, the Samyang 35mm, which is a really large lens. I mean, it's like the size of a normal Canon, like a large Canon L zoom. So, and a 5D Mark III, which is a nice big metal camera body. And it's all the weight is basically being taken up by this elastic strap. So it's coming from here. This is just my camera strap, which is great because that means that, you know, if I'm traveling, which would be one of the reasons why I'd take this as my stabilizer, because it's so damn compact. And just my camera strap with a clip there, which works really well. So basically it's going over my shoulder like that, and then it's being clipped to my belt loop on my jeans. And then what I found is a really nice easy way to adjust it is if I want to pull it tighter, instead of starting to adjust the actual strap here, I simply pull it to a further away belt loop. So right here would be slightly less tight, here would be tighter, here would be even tighter. So basically the further away the belt loop is, the more it stretches this. And I think it is important to have an elastic thing on your camera strap. So if you don't have a camera strap with an elastic piece on it, this is a custom-made strap that I made. But if you don't have elastic on your camera strap, then, I mean, you could use any elastic. But, I mean, of course, it is important to make sure that you're using an elastic in a way where it won't sort of spring and hit you in the face. So for me, I mean, here, there's definitely no way it's going to do that. But if in case you're thinking of using a bungee cord or something like that, just be careful because you don't want it to fly towards your face. But basically, this is allowing me to use mostly any, I mean, it's basically a way heavier camera than would normally be comfortable, or a way heavier camera than a shoulder rig. Like here, the limit is not so much how much my arms can hold, but more how much the rig can hold. But with larger rigs, with more standard shoulder rigs, it's just the fact that it's really heavy on your arms and on your back, and just holding it up for a long time is the main issue. So then once again, this thing is going to pull the weight backwards, and this is surprisingly comfortable. As you can see right now, I mean, I know the camera's shaking a little bit, but this is not a lot of shake for someone who's not holding the camera at all. I mean, I'm completely hands-free at the moment. So, you know, if I wanted it to be stable, I could make it nice and stable by actually holding the camera. So hopefully you found this helpful. And I mean, like I said, I will be mostly using this with a smaller camera because, I mean, that's still nicer for me to have a smaller camera, having the viewfinder on the A7S, etc. But it means that I can use my 5D, I can use larger lenses on the A7S, I can basically have so much more use out of this with my quick release plate and the much nicer ball head. And now with regards to having the quick release here, that is important for me because then I can really quickly take my camera off and have it go on my slider or tripod or whatever. Or I can detach the, oh, and by the way, that does give me some nice adjustability forward and back as well, because the quick release can slide forward and back. And that also gives me a nice option for detaching this under here. So basically detaching the Joby's quick release, which is a smaller one at the bottom there, a little Arca Swiss quick release. So I'm somehow going to detach, there we go. So I've detached the Joby one, so now the Gorillapod is there with the Joby head. And now, when I detach my clip here, I've basically got a ready-to-go camera strap. Just put that over my shoulder, and that's now an awesome photography strap, just like it is normally, except instead of connecting to the bottom of the camera, it's connected to my quick release plate at the side. But yeah, I mean, awesome. Really, really awesome, really versatile. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments, and do let me know in the comments how this goes for you with various rigs and what materials you find, or what sort of solutions like this you found that work best for you. And I mean, let me know if you used any special belts or anything like that. I mean, I'd love to hear about that. I'm sure other viewers would like to know as well, what sort of system you guys found that works best for your rigs and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.